Get ready for a life-changing timeout on the program, The Happiest People. Brought to you by the Full Gospel Business Men's Fellowship International, Men of Honor.
I'm your host, Segun Falope.
Welcome. On the program, you'll get to listen to the stories of men and women saved by God to live better, more fulfilling and happier lives. Full Gospel Business Men's Fellowship International is one of the largest Christian business organizations in the world. Founded by Demon Shakarian, it's situated in 142 nations where meetings are held in 7,000 chapters. Our members and leaders are from every race, culture, social status, and language. Our mandate from God is to break the chains of bondage in the world, to destroy the isolation of loneliness, and link the world to God. It's our destiny to lift up Christ in every business center, every marketplace, every government center, every university, every nation, city, town, and crossroads of the world.
The happiest people on earth, men influenced by God to change for good, one life at a time.
Let's now listen as someone shares a personal story about the wonderful thing the Lord's done.
I'm from Cross River State, Calabar, and I feel really honored to stand in your presence and to tell you the wonderful story of what the Lord is doing in my life. I wouldn't say I was born into a good Christian family, no. As a child, I know my mother used to take me to church, but my father was a free thinker. He neither believed in God nor in the devil. And he believed everybody had a right to believe in whatever he wanted to believe in. And as a result, we grew up in that kind of loose atmosphere. I'm an only daughter in a family of 7 children. And even though my father didn't know God, didn't appreciate God, he was a teacher of teachers and he appreciated good education. So he made sure that we're all very well educated. To the glory of God, I'm the first of the 2 lawyers from that family. And God has been helping me all along. At the age of 15, I had admission by merit to read law in the Faculty of Law, University of Calabar. As a result, I had a law degree before I was 20 years old. I was called to the bar, did my youth service, did private practice for a couple of years, until one day, while I was appearing before the then Chief Judge of Cross River State, Honorable Justice Ikoma, he literally ordered me to appear before him at the Judicial Service Commission the following day. When I reached there, they gave me a form to fill. He simply told the Judicial Service Commission members, this is the lady I've been telling you about, we need her in the bench. And in 5 minutes, my appointment letter was ready. I had been appointed a magistrate in the bench of the Cross River State Judiciary. I was never interviewed. God was with me, even though I didn't know him. And I rose in my profession. As a matter of fact, in my time, I became the youngest person ever to occupy the office of Chief Registrar. That's the #1 magistrate in the Cross River State Judiciary. The Lord was really lifting me up. I was doing very well in my professional life, but my marriage was in shambles. As a matter of fact, I had met my husband. He's the most wonderful man on earth. I can tell you that now. We met on our matriculation grounds, and we fell in love. We were inseparable throughout the university. It so happened that we were classmates. After we were called to Barr and did our youth service, we got married. But marriage seemed to have brought out the worst in us. I don't know why. As a married woman, I was completely unsubmissive. I didn't know submission. Both of us were taken over by pride and arrogance. We were always contesting, competing, and contending with each other. Well, if you like it, we were always putting it to each other in the house. The end result of it was that my husband and I grew apart, and he now was forced into doing those things which he knew would hurt me most. He went into drinking, went into smoking, and all the rest of the things. In fact, our marriage was so bad that at a time I was given official accommodation as a magistrate. My husband refused to move into the accommodation. He said he was sure I would wake up one day and order him to go out of my house. And I'm sure I would have done it in those good old days. That was how we lived, honestly. We're not making any progress. We're making good monies, but it's like we're making monies and putting it in bags full of holes. The first 10 years of our marriage was pure hell. We didn't have a house of our own. We're living in a rented apartment, no good car, nothing. We're just making money, and the money was going away. And so it was. Until one Friday evening, as usual, my husband had gone night clubbing. And he returned at about 4 a.m. Of course, he knew he couldn't come into the bedroom. I wouldn't stand the stench of alcohol and cigarette. So he went to sleep in the sitting room on the floor. The following morning, he was struggling with a king-size hangover when he decided to put on the television. And the program that was on that morning was the THP, that's the Happiest People program, a program produced and sponsored by the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International. A man was being interviewed on that program, and the man was telling the story of his life. And this story so captivated my husband that for reasons best known to him, he called me and said I should come and listen to it. And so I came, and both of us listened to this man. And as a matter of fact, he x-rayed our life. By the time he finished speaking, we looked into our eyes, and the scales fell from our eyes. And we saw our nakedness and our worthlessness and our woe. During that program, the altar call was made, and without consulting with each other, both my husband and I knelt down in our sitting rooms, answered the call of God upon our lives. We gave our lives to Jesus. At the end of that program, the list of all the chapters of the fellowship meeting then in our locality was shown on television, and the nearest one was the Calabar Executive Chapter of the Fellowship. And Monday evening before 6 p.m., we were there. Brethren, we were shocked when we sat down and we saw the caliber of men and women who walked into that meeting hall that evening. And we could identify most of them. Some of them were professors who had taught us in our university days. But we noticed that almost everybody was there with their spouse. And as the meeting progressed, we enjoyed the praise worship, enjoyed the testimonies, enjoyed the ministration of the man of God. At the end of the meeting, they got up, sang the love song, and they were hugging and shaking hands. And even though we were strangers, we were being hugged and our hands being shaken as if we had been part and parcel of that fellowship from the inception. We were really, really touched. We saw men of substance humble themselves and sit at the feet of God. We saw joy. We saw camaraderie. We saw people who dropped everything they had and served the Lord. From that day, we never turned back from any of those meetings. 2 years thereafter, an election was conducted, and my husband was made secretary of the Calabar Executive Chapter of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship. With that appointment came responsibilities. He had the responsibilities of planning for chapter meetings, executive meetings. He was put into committees to plan for seminars and all the rest of those things. And for the first time, my husband and I enjoyed doing something together. We had both fallen in love with the fellowship, and we gave our all into the fellowship. Not long thereafter, my husband was made president of the Satellite Town chapter of the fellowship, and this was a real challenge to us. As a family, we embraced the fishing chapter model of the fellowship and made a solid commitment with God that after 6 months as president, we were going to birth a new chapter from that chapter. Brethren, God helped us. By this time, we had started investing in the fellowship, and we had had wonderful returns on our investment. And so it was very easy for us to plan and sponsor weekly outreaches for that chapter. Before 6 months was over, we had birthed a new chapter. As I'm talking to you, it's 2 years, and that chapter has birthed 3 chapters of yet another fellowship, and the 4th is in the pipeline. We enjoyed working for God in the fellowship. It didn't take long. My husband was made a field representative of the fellowship. And we discovered that the fellowship had brought us together. The spirit of competition, the spirit of bragging and pride, all of that slowly went away. All those little foxes just slowly went away. We discovered a new joy in serving the Lord. The Lord put it into our hearts to build a pastor's resort for him, and we did so. And one of the chapters of the fellowship is meeting in that resort. It's a resort that we give free accommodation to men of God. The Lord also has put it into our hearts to evangelize our entire neighborhood for God. As a result of this great fellowship, my father, who was a free thinker, gave his life to God in the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International. God has helped us. God has really helped us. We have godly children now. Our children are growing into the fellowship, and we are glad that we are going to hand over the priesthood unto them. We have gotten a singular joy from serving God. Spiritually, we have reaped benefits. We have been lifted in our church. As a matter of fact, by the special grace of God, I'm the women leader for my church in the Cross River State Zone. Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship brought out our organizational skills and ability, and because of what we were doing in the fellowship, we're now able to set up an event management outfit, which we are comfortably running today. I really want to thank God for what He has done in our lives. He's truly been faithful. And I want to say, as a matter of fact, that we have a solid commitment with God, that even when we would have gone hoary head, we would still be walking the grounds of conventions and meetings of the Full Gospel Business Fellowship International, hand in hand, reaping in the last harvest for the Lord and experiencing the joy of harvest. Thank you very much.
The happiest people on earth, men influenced by God to change for good, one life at a time.
You've heard what Jesus can do: save, deliver, and keep. Are you ready to make a decision for Him? Are you ready to give your life to Jesus Christ? If yes, say these prayers after me. Lord Jesus, come into my heart, make it yours, save me from sin, and give unto me the joy of salvation. Yes, because the scripture says, with mouth confession is made unto salvation. Now that you have said this, you are saved. Congratulations. Get in touch with us. We're going to send you 2 literatures that will help you to understand your decision. The first one, we call it Now That You Receive Christ. The second one is Christian Life is Exciting. You can get in touch with us on these following numbers: 080-35-033-626, 0803-9620-222, 0703-482-5755. I go over the number again: 0803-5033-626, 0803-9620-222, 0703-482-5755.
The happiest people on earth.
Tune in again next week at the same time, same station. God bless you.